Although the foundation is registered, he says he has yet to launch any programs. Instead, he says he puts money into other charities.
I'm actually proud of what we do. I'm not ashamed of it.
BuzzFeed claims many of the recent donations came from Benevity, a site that connects large corporations like Google and Apple to charities. Tonight, a disclaimer was placed on the Black Lives Matter Foundation donation page saying it had no association with BLM.
In their filing for the year 2017, they're showing only $89,000 in total spending, only $24,000 on executive compensation, so salaries for the people who run this organization. And the only name you can find of someone receiving a salary is Robert Ray Barnes. Google as much as you'd like. If you look around for Robert Ray Barnes and Black Lives Matter, about the only information you can find is that he is the person whose name is on their tax form 990. He's not someone we can find political lectures on YouTube from. How is it possible for a multi-million-dollar organization so prominently featured in the news on a daily basis in the year 2020 to remain fundamentally mysterious, both about what it does and what it's trying to do?
And GoFundMe sent us this statement saying in part, 180 campaigns have recently raised money for the Black Lives Matter Foundation, raising $350,000. GoFundMe placed all funds on hold, and we are working with PayPal and the campaign organizers to ensure all of the money raised is transferred to the Black Lives Matter movement via their fiscal sponsor. We did reach out to the Black Lives Matter movement here in Los Angeles, but have yet to hear back. As for the Black Lives Matter Foundation, when it comes to taxes, the latest return we could find was in 2017. The foundation brought in just under $300,000. Barnes was the only employee to get paid just over $20,000.
But our whole goal is to find a way to bring the community and the police together so that we can live in harmony with the police.
Although the foundation is registered, he says he has yet to launch any programs.
How is it possible for a multi-million-dollar organization to remain fundamentally mysterious, both about what it does and what it's trying to do? Now, I'm putting the emphasis on point 2 there. All social movements are aspirational in nature, and most charity fundraising is aspirational in nature. I think it's completely fine, morally, ethically, politically, to come out and ask for donations and ask for support and try to sell t-shirts with your logo on it when all you have to sell is the idea of making the world a better place. That's what many of us have to do. It is a little bit strange that in the year 2020, Black Lives Matter wants to sell you a t-shirt with their logo on it for $30 when they received a headline-grabbing donation of $100 million in 2016.
Robert Ray Barnes is the founder of the Black Lives Matter Foundation in Santa Clarita, not associated with the Black Lives Matter movement, and therein lies the confusion. Tonight, a BuzzFeed article claims in the wake of racial protests, donors mistakenly raised more than $4 million for the local nonprofit, thinking it was going back to the Black Lives Matter Global Network, the worldwide movement that aims to end police brutality.
I've seen articles that says that I've raised $4.3 million where, I have never had anything close to that.
The BuzzFeed article does say the bulk of that money raised was frozen before it could be dispersed. Nevertheless, Barnes says he has never associated with Black Lives Matter Global Network.
I've never heard one word from anybody from Black Lives Matter.
But he says he has received donations for his foundation, although he would not disclose the amount.
I don't know whether they're doing it to support what I was doing or not. How do I know? I've been around since 2015.
Full disclosure. When I received my first payment from YouTube for just $1,000, I decided to spend it giving my viewers t-shirts for free. I printed t-shirts with my channel's logo, and I asked them just to pay shipping and handling. I literally showed them the receipt from the post office for exactly how much shipping and handling was to send the t-shirt to them wherever they were. I gave away t-shirts for free when I had earned just $1,000. If you have received $100 million, I think many of your supporters would be in a position to ask, where are the free t-shirts? Or at least, couldn't this t-shirt be $15.99 instead of $30? This may seem shallow, but it's really quite profound. Organizations like PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, they began in pursuit of a definite set of objectives. But then with the passage of time, the pursuit of self-promotion, the pursuit of news coverage, the promotions such as selling t-shirts, took over more and more of what the organization did, to the extent that no matter how many millions of dollars they have, it seems that PETA is in the business of absolutely nothing other than and nothing more than promoting PETA, whether that be news appearances, t-shirts, or what have you. In record time, and with a remarkably big budget, something similar happens to Black Lives Matter in the United States. And it's a shame because, to disclose my own bias, I do think there's a really important message to be communicated here. I do think there's a really important idea for a movement that could have existed, but already now in 2020, we have to look back at the last 4 years and say, where did all that money go? Where did the budget go? And where did all that potential go? The pent-up passion and interest and engagement of millions of people throughout the country and around the world. And now looking ahead, we have to ask, with all due skepticism, what is supposed to happen next?
Well, we've now got the mugshot of the one-time leader of a group called Black Lives Matter of Greater Atlanta. Sir Major Page, whose real name is Tyree Conyers Page, is accused of defrauding hundreds of people who donated to the organization. Now GoFundMe is stepping in to help those donors get their money back. The crowdfunding website tells 11 Alive more than $13,000 was raised on their platform for the organization. A spokesperson says anyone who wants a refund can request one. Page is banned from using the site in the future. FBI agents raided Page's home in Toledo, Ohio on Friday. He's accused of using more than $200,000 in donations from the Black Lives Matter of Greater Atlanta organization. We're talking to pay for things like food, entertainment, furniture, and tailored suits for himself. The FBI says he told donors their money would be going to causes related to social justice and the George Floyd case.
So the first thing I would advise people to do is understand what part of the Black Lives Matter movement you're donating to. There are so many different funds set up right now, so just ensure that your money is going where you intend it to go. Is it going to a bail fund? Is it going to a victim relief fund? Are you donating for policy reform or change? There's just a lot of different elements, and so that's the first piece of research that we think is really important.
You know, we see in times like this, it's always so frustrating, the scammers and people with bad intentions who would try and take advantage of people who are looking to help and contribute. Is there anything in particular that pops up to you as a red flag if someone's soliciting donations, or if you see certain things that maybe that's not the best organization to contribute to?
Yeah, we do see scammers trying to take advantage of donations during this time. The main thing people want to look for is transparency on the charity website. Is there some sort of document or report or filing that shows their costs, the percentage of donations that goes to operational overhead versus boots on the ground? You're looking for that financial transparency when you're donating. Because some of the Black Lives Matter movement charities are not 501c3s, BBB can't accredit them, has nothing to do with the legitimacy of the charity. It's just not a 501c3, which is within our policy.
But apart from what actually is being done with the money, like apart from the question of where the money went, it's even more peculiar to try to puzzle out what was the cause that anyone was donating money to 4 years ago. And what cause now does this organization represent? 4 years ago, they had a manifesto on their website. And I made a YouTube video here discussing point by point what that manifesto said and what it left unsaid, and criticizing it, I think, in a fair and open-ended way, saying, look, this is not the way to define your organization. This is not the way to write a constitution explaining what it is you're going to do and what you're not going to do, and warning that this would lead to real problems in the future for the organization. Today, that manifesto has been deleted from their own website. Not just the page was uploaded to at the time. There is no trace of that manifesto for Black Lives Matter movement. There is no definition, no constitution. There is no text anywhere on the website that defines for you who they are, what they're doing, where your money will go, what it is even that they're trying to accomplish. Now, the organization has existed for enough years that you can judge them by their past accomplishments, by what they have done to some extent. However, they define themselves as a leaderless organization that does not attempt to control or direct the Black Lives Matter movement. There is this vague sense in which Black Lives Matter as an organization is given credit for the outcomes in these situations when there are protests or when there is a lawsuit, and the lawsuit is even successful in favor of the black people who were slain by police. And I can't just say it's not clear to me that the organization did anything at all. On the contrary, what I have to say to you is, even investigating this, hoping to find something I can give the organization credit for. I wish I could come here on camera and say to you, they don't just sell t-shirts, they don't just paint their logo on race cars, NASCAR, they don't just do this kind of promotion, that they really are out there doing important things in these court cases or even in these protests. But I have to tell you, I haven't seen a single example where there's something tangible that they're doing with, again, more than $133 million of charitable support, a seemingly bottomless budget, an unbelievable level of sincere public interest and enthusiasm, a lot of people looking to this organization for leadership and hope. And they themselves say, in response to this, again and again what they say is, they don't provide leadership. They're not leading an organization. Rather than using the word leaderless, they have this cute word, leaderful. We're a leaderful, we let everyone lead themselves. And as bad as the constitution of the movement was, that I made a YouTube video about more than 3 years ago discussing, as bad as their constitution was, as bad as the old definitions were, at least that provided some definition of who these people were and what they're trying to accomplish. I understand the aesthetic appeal of claiming to be a horizontal organization, a decentralized organization, an acephalous organization, a leaderless organization. I understand the egalitarian appeal of just saying, well, anyone anywhere can take a permanent marker and a piece of cardboard and write Black Lives Matter on it, and they're somehow participating in and are part of this movement. But guess what? Ultimately, there is a bank account that this money is being paid into. All right? When somebody pays $30 for that t-shirt, it's not the case that a few pennies go to each person or each chapter around the world. You know, ultimately there is a question of personal responsibility financially. And there's a question of leadership in terms of the unbelievable lost potential, looking back at the last 4 years. And now we really have to ask ourselves about the lost potential in the next 4 years. Maybe we can practice what you thought